Hello again, everyone. It's time for one-on-one. When we come back from the break, one of my favorite people in the whole world will be the guest. This is an update. He's been on the show before, but he's done so much since that, we had to add on to it a little bit. When we come back, Coach Cam Morvant, or Cam Morvant, depending on how you know him, is our guest on one-on-one. One-on-One is brought to you by the Law Office of Waits and Downer. Y'all were practical jokers too.
Yeah.
You know, we saw y'all as authority figures, but I'll never forget, you called me in the office one day with all the coaches. It was after a game, and I graded a 93. Mm-hmm. Y'all used to grade us.
Yeah.
I graded a 93, did pretty good. And you bring me in the office and you say, I'm disappointed in you. Why? I don't think you played up to your potential. Coach, I graded a 93. Go in my locker and get the playbook. You had a mannequin. Y'all put a mannequin
right
in the back,
yes,
with a knife taped in his hand.
Right.
I got in a fight with the mannequin.
No, we were all young. Yeah. I mean, we weren't that much older than you guys when you think about it. You know? No, we did some
6
stuff.
years, I don't know.
Yeah, we had some good times. It really did. It was a fun year. It was a fun career, although it be a short one. I have conversations with Coach DuPont. You know, he and I played football together and very good friends, and told him at some awards banquet he got, when I had to say something, that I admired him for staying in it. You know, I made a decision because and I've said it before and I'll say it again, it was finances with me to make a living at it. I left in 1979. I had 2 undergraduate degrees. I had to go back and get another degree in education. I had a master's degree. I was head football coach. I was head track coach. I was teaching 6 classes a day, and I was making $8,900 a year. And my dad was a very successful attorney, and he was like, you need to look somewhere else, do some other things. So,
you were making more at coaching than you did to be the magistrate of Grand Isle.
That's true. But I love doing what I'm doing on Grand Isle. I've been doing it 4 years now. I'm the magistrate judge. I have court the third Thursday of every month. I really enjoy doing that. I really do. And I don't do it because of the money, obviously. And I was never part of anything when I was, you know, I was appointed to the job by the town council. And I actually never even asked them what they were paying me. I didn't even know till I got my first check what I was even making. It wasn't important to me. I'm at a stage in life now where I like to do things because I enjoy doing it. I lecture at the Law Enforcement Academy. I don't get paid for that.
I think you love the challenge.
Yes, I do.
I think it's part of what keeps you vibrant.
Yeah. I miss the courtroom tremendously. But you hit a certain age in life where you just gonna, at some point you realize you might still be pretty good at it, but you're not what you were 20 years ago. I mean, that's a fact. You and I have had conversations together about age, and you gave me an example about climbing the mountain and getting
fingernails in the mountain.
That's right.
Yeah.
And getting on top. We're all coming down. We're all coming down. And some of us want to stick our fingernails in it and claw all the way down, and some of us just get on our back and slide down. Well, I've clawed and slid down, I guess, both ways. I'm still not ready to come all the way down, but I do miss the courtroom part. I still get in it. I still get associated on some cases, but I'm in a different role. I'm not the lead person anymore.
If you look at your career, start with the success you had as a player at Edie White. You had very instrumental coaches. You had Pat Zush.
Yeah, Edmund Groh, Coach Gula.
Right. They sort of shaped y'all. But a coach can only shape a person so much till the personality of that person takes over.
Sure.
Your personality, diverse would probably be a good word. You tried a little bit of everything, like you said.
Yeah.
And you've been pretty good at everything. Versatile.
I've tried. Again, because I don't, success is important to me, but once I achieve it, I don't want this to sound bad, I move on to something else.
Do you get bored?
No. When I left the DA's office early, I was diagnosed with AFib that I had. I talked to you about that when I did my interview with you. I was on blood pressure medication, I was on AFib medication, I was on cholesterol medication, I weighed 275 pounds, and I was a mess. my cardiologist and I had that discussion and told me I had to make a decision on what I was going to do, and I did. It doesn't bother me anymore, but it bothered me for a long time because I'm not used to walking away from anything. I don't do that. And I felt like after I left that I had walked away from it, and I shouldn't have. But I tried all kind of different things. I tried going into the office later, and I felt guilty. I tried leaving the office early, then I felt guilty. I mean, so I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm making myself more stressed and giving myself more anxiety by trying to deal with what I got. And the only way to deal with what I got is to go give myself some time away from this. And I'm not going to do it on the public's nickel. In other words, I was not going to take time off and say, hey, I'll be back when I get back, and y'all just keep paying me. I was not doing that. So I made one of the most difficult decisions in my life to walk away from it. And I did. And I will tell you, it bothered the dickens out of me for a long time. But I'm over it now. We have a great district attorney in Lafourche Parish, Ms. Russell, who I knew would be a good district attorney. I mean, she got 82% of the vote in the last election, and she does a good job. So that's, and the whole office does. She's got a very good staff there, and they do a good job. And I don't really go there that much anymore. And it's nothing personal. I talk to her a lot. I talk to the ADAs a lot. I'll go there every now and then, but it was the right decision for me to make at the time.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
I remember you speaking when they dedicated the building to you a couple of weeks ago, and I'll paraphrase it. I'm going to try to quote you. You said you felt she had a lot of potential. and I saw her. She took that in stride. She sort of chuckled.
Yeah.
Here she is,
well.
a very good DA now. But at that time, you took a chance on her.
We did. Danny Cavell, my law partner, I interviewed her for her first job out of LSU Law School. Yeah. And it was just something about her. I liked her, and I guess I'm being honest. I just did. She had we had a good conversation. She made a comment about that we needed to update our magazines in our office because some of them are like 5 years old, things like that. So it was it was a good conversation. Yeah. And I did say that when he says, well, what do you think? I said, I think she's got some potential. I mean, who knew? She was early 20s at the time, just graduated from law school, never tried a case. And so, and there she is now. She sits on the Board of Regents. She's president of the State District Attorneys Association. She's a district attorney in Lafourche Parish. So, I think she has some pretty good potential. She did well for herself. But
you, just like Coach Albert saw something in you, you saw something in her. Yeah. Isn't that the chain of life?
It sure is. It is. I mean, I said when I was DA, I did a lot of interviews. I did 2 radio shows every month live. Every month, and where people just could call in and ask whatever they want.
I remember that.
Actually, when I started that, I had a couple of elected officials ask me, are you crazy? Yeah. I was the first one to do it. Right. And I'm like, well, here's the deal. All they're looking for is an honest answer if I can answer it. And so I made a deal with myself and with those stations when I went on, is if somebody asked me a question and I could answer it, I would. If I could not answer it legally, I would have to, like if it was something about an ongoing case, I would have to say, well, I still got the case in my office, I can't talk about it. When I'm finished, I will. And I did. And I felt that like if you gave people an honest answer, even if they didn't like it, they were okay with it. Because I'm not one, and I never have been one, to pat you on the back and tell you what you want to hear when I know I ain't doing it. And I used to tell people that in my office, they would come see me about their grandchildren, their children, or whatever other problem they had, and I would listen to them, and I could see, the emotion in their face because of what had happened. And I would, at the end of the conversation, I would tell them, I would say something to the effect, I know what you want to hear, but I'm not going to do it. So there's no sense me telling you right now and I can pat you on the back and say, oh, I'm going to look into it, but I'm not doing it. And I'd rather tell you now than lie to you or tell you I'm going to look at it later when I know I'm not, because it's not going to change. And so,
but you've always been a straight shooter.
I try to be.
And you've always tried to play within the rules.
Tried to do that also. I'm a rule guy. I always say that. I've made mistakes. We've all made mistakes.
Right.
And, but I've tried to be a rule guy. Yes, I have.
I remember Somebody got a ticket in Thibodeau one time, and they called me and said, "Didn't Ken Morvant used to coach you? Y'all pretty tight?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Look, I got this ticket. You think you could bring it to him?" I said, "Hell no, you bring your own ticket to him." And I know you helped a few people, but
I did.
But I get it. It's such a tough role when if somebody does something that's really over the line, they got to be accountable for it, or else they're going to keep doing it over and over again.
In that job, that role, in any kind of public official, and is separating what I refer to sometimes as the knuckleheads from the bad guys. What I mean by the knucklehead, these are people we have in our family, these are friends we got that are always in some kind of mischief. And they're not bad people. They're really not. Mm-hmm. They're people you can go sit down and have a drink with and, you know, a cup of coffee with and enjoy a conversation with. But they got bad people out there. And those are the ones that we need to target. You know, I've said this many times also, nothing made me feel better in my career than if I was at a fair or festival and this young guy would come up to me and say, "You don't remember me, but when I was 18, I committed a burglary. I had to pay a price for it, but you were fair with me and you helped me out, and I want you to meet my wife and my 2 kids." That made me feel good. Mm-hmm. That made me feel good. Not the person who came up to me and said, "Oh, you remember that guy you put in jail 10 years ago? He's still in jail." I'm like, okay, that's part of the job, but I never took any pleasure in that. I mean, I really didn't. I mean, I never did. That was just part of dissecting. And look, that's what goes with that job, and it's a lot of responsibility. Is making sure that you protect the community. That's the number one thing you have to do. Protect the community from the people who I say, the way I looked at it, do not deserve to live with us because they just don't. They're dangerous. You know, they either steal everything from you or they hurt you or your family. Those people got to go. I got no qualms with that. I lose no sleep over that. I'm not saying I enjoy it, but I don't lose any sleep. Where I lose sleep is in making the right decision, where you sent the right person off, or you gave this other person a chance to make them a productive citizen. Because everybody has some good in them. People can say what they want, they do. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just have to find it. And so part of being a good DA is not slamming everybody in jail. And I know we're moving back towards that again. We like a pendulum in the justice system. We go back and forth. And I'm not smart enough to know what the exact answer is. I just think you got to have good judgment and make the right decisions. And that's what people elect you to do.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
I was most proud of you when you were elected DA at the parish council meeting, a jury meeting, and Lafourche was in disarray. It was ugly.
We were.
It was good TV. People would tune in just to watch the fights or what would happen. You walked in with a dolly with boxes.
Lawsuits.
Yeah, evidence, I guess. And when you walked in with that, I saw the same game face that you had at Vanderbilt. When you coached us, I went, uh-oh. And I credit you a lot with just sort of changing the tone. And look, they fought you. You fought them.
Oh, yeah.
But I think after a while, people started getting it.
Yeah.
And that was a big moment.
It was. And I can tell you what I said. I still remember it. And that was almost 25 years ago. I walked in. I unpacked all those boxes out of my truck. I put them on a dolly. I brought them in, and I pushed them up to the microphone, and I said, "You see this? This stops tonight. It stops tonight." And it did. I mean, I had to negotiate $500,000 in attorney fees with a law firm from Baton Rouge that we had run up. We hadn't paid them. They were getting ready to sue us. So I had to travel back and forth from Baton Rouge to negotiate a reasonable fee that Lafourche would have to pay for all the stuff that we did. We had a parish president who I liked and respected, wasn't even going to the meetings. I had to go sit down and talk him into coming back into the meetings. And I'm not saying everything got great right away. I mean, the council ended up suing me 3 times. Mm-hmm. They ended up turning me into the disciplinary board. It was a mess the first few years. It really was. But again, you stay the course. because I felt what I was doing was right and it was the best thing for the people of Lafourche Parish, and I think the people respected that. I went to every meeting for years, never missed a meeting. I rearranged my personal schedule and everything else to do it. There were times I walked in the office and spent 100% of my time, the entire day, dealing with stuff that was going on with parish government. Today it's changed. We have good people in parish government, and again, we got a district attorney's office who doesn't spend near as much time, thank God, on that as I had to spend on it. But it was something that was going on in the parish that the DA was responsible for. The district attorney is the legal advisor in Lafourche Parish to all parish governments, 64 boards and commissions. I was the attorney for the school board, for the hospital. A lot of people don't realize that. The recreation districts, the hospital districts. I was the district attorney for 64 boards and commissions, including all of parish government. And so it's a big responsibility, and I had one assistant helping me out with that. That was it. And
But
so
the DAs in Louisiana have so much unbridled power.
authority.
Well, let's say authority. I say power, you say authority. But it is a awesome responsibility
It is.
at your fingertips. You can make somebody's life very even keeled, or you could make it very miserable depending on how far you want to take something. Isn't that the discretion and the awesomeness of being a DA, that you better be sort of even keeled and well thought out, or it can be a very, very powerful position?
You never, ever should take anything personal. I've said it so many times. When somebody, I would say, this is what I'm doing. Well, I can't believe I said, it's business. It's all business. It's not personal. It'll never get personal with me. I don't care what you've said about me. I don't care. I mean, even the ones that sued me, even the ones that turned me in to the disciplinary, there's a couple of them left. We still call each other on our birthdays. I never had any ill feeling towards them. I thought they were wrong, and I ended up proving they were wrong at the end of the day, because I never lost a suit when they sued me. When I sued them and had to do it, I won mine. And so the disciplinary went nowhere with the complaint that was made against, because it was not a proper complaint. It was not true. So I never held that against them. I never did. And some of them continued to serve for long years after that. And when I see them today, we sit down and visit. So it's never personal. You can't let it get personal with you. You cannot. It's got to be strictly business. Strictly business. Even lawyers who I didn't get along well with, I treated their clients the same as I would treat somebody else's client. And because if you start doing it, it becomes a never-ending cycle, and it doesn't work. You know, I've tried to go by this motto. My dad used to always preach to me, and I preached this to Christine, and she will tell you if you ask her. If you do the right thing, things usually work out for you. I used to tell witnesses that all the time. Do not ever lie on a witness stand. I don't care how bad the testimony is. It'll work out. But if you lie, really bad things are going to happen that I can't help you with. So if you try to do the right thing, things usually work out for you. It really does. Life is not that complicated.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm. This one-on-one program has been brought to you by the law offices of Waits and Downer.